As if they don't have too much on their plates. The Kings of Combat Sports Podcast, John and Wade. They talk about the things they did that day. They'll analyze the work of Vince and Triple H. Review a SmackDown. 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 Review a SmackDown.
Welcome to Review of SmackDown. I am John Pollock. He is Wai Ting.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a number of years. It's usually always the two of us. How are you, Wai?
Usually.
Usually.
With the odd week here and there. Usually it's at least one of us.
Well, usually you're representing the Toronto Blue Jays, but this is the first time you have represented Neurosis.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, my favorite softball team, Neurosis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're great. They're
Yeah.
doing pretty well this season.
Yeah, they're a fantastic team.
Yep.
I wish they did a little more at the trade deadline, but
No. Well, it's too bad. You should go out to a game one of these days.
maybe I will.
They're
Where do they play?
Yeah. All over. They tour. This is a great team.
Yeah.
And anyway, so yes.
With their shortstop, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, of course.
Did you talk about your experience going? Because I think when we talked about it, you were going to their show, but we didn't hear how the show
we
was.
talked about it at all.
I don't know when we talked privately and publicly.
Yeah.
You went to their show recently.
Yes, I did. I went to see Neurosis, my first experience.
Was there any independent booker in attendance at the show?
Gabe? No. Gabe was not there.
Okay, because he's a
Huge.
gigantic fan.
I heard that he was actually at the show the night prior in Montreal. So if he could have made the drive to Toronto, I feel like he might have.
It's like if you're going to go all the way to Montreal, it's like, why don't you do the loop?
Oh, well, it's a bit of a distance. It's about 6 hours. And where does he live? Like Boston or something?
Philadelphia?
Or Philadelphia?
It's
wherever.
It's a bit of a distance to Montreal, too.
Yeah, I know, but it's just an addition. So why not just go everywhere?
Dude, I think he went to like 5 shows on the tour, so he kind of did.
Oh, that much?
I think that's what he wrote.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway,
We'll have to talk to Gabe.
night 1 through 5. But the show was good.
When are you gonna do the impression for him?
I think it's been done for him. It's been conveyed to him by some people.
Next time you interview him, can you please drop it?
I don't think he wants to be interviewed.
Have you ever interviewed somebody that you have done an impression in front of? Like, obviously it's a little awkward, but let's say like you get Anderson and you end up having a really fun vibe in the interview. Well, is there ever an opportunity where
No, that'd be
come up?
extremely awkward. It'd be very weird. I would never want someone to do an impression of me to my face.
Okay.
Nor would you like someone to do that to you, I don't think.
You do it to me all the time, actually.
No. Let's get into SmackDown. Do you have anything else to discuss?
Not really.
Well, I don't want to dive deep into the world at large,
Yeah.
but Tuesday was an extremely depressing day. And just awful news. My American friends, you have an awful president. And I thought SmackDown, maybe this will just be a release from the awful world news that is going on. And then we had this first segment. First of all, the show from the prestigious Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island, was opened with another Tom Phillips gem to start the show, calling this arguably the biggest match in SmackDown's history. Tonight, Jinder Mahal, John Cena, arguably the biggest ever.
You can argue it.
Maybe you could argue it. It's a tough argument to make, but you physically can't argue it.
Okay, when they say those things, though, in the mind of the average person watching, I feel like they
Is it the biggest?
have enough of a justification.
Is it the
just to
biggest
say something.
SmackDown main event in the month?
Yeah,
It's bigger than Nakamura and Cena.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Depending on who you're talking to. I mean, if you're talking to a listener,
You're talking to me.
okay, then yeah, then obviously not. But I think you have different qualifications of what constitutes a big main event.
They just called Nakamura Cena the biggest SmackDown main event ever.
Yeah, but it wasn't
3 weeks ago.
But it wasn't for the championship.
This wasn't for the championship either.
Okay, but it's against the champion.
Last week it was Randy Orton against the champion.
Okay, but this is John Cena.
Oh, okay.
What I mean is, I feel like it's justifiable. I mean, you're a fan of Nakamura because of the great matches he has, But I mean,
No, because they told me 3 weeks ago it was the biggest SmackDown main event
But the
ever.
other thing is, if you're a promoter,
I'm a sheep. I'm listening to what they tell me.
But if you're a promoter, you want everything that you're trying to promote to feel like it's the biggest match ever. And if you're a 5 or 6 year old watching this, you can't justifiably believe that.
So
Cena,
every week they should call it the biggest match ever.
if you're a promoter, you should be doing that, arguably.
Okay.
Oh, you don't think they should?
I think you're going out on a limb trying to defend this.
I'm not. I'm trying to tell you what.
You'd be fine if every single week they promoted every single television main event as the biggest one ever. We just continue to re-up it every week.
That's the job of a promoter. What does Dana do every single time? If it's just justifiable, if it's believable, then yeah, I want them to
It's
do
not
it.
believable after 3 times.
Not believable to you, but I don't think everybody watches the same way that you do.
Okay, well then it was a more historic SmackDown than I anticipated. The Singh brothers came out to introduce Jinder Mahal. The ring was all set up for his segment, and it was India's Independence Day. And Jinder says his inspiration and pride come from his people, and then introduced the dancers that came out for this big celebration. Jinder then called the people jingoistic and xenophobic as he introduced Madhu to sing the national anthem of India. And she followed by performing the national anthem as this entire arena booed her down. And Mahal said he expected this reaction. He's going to beat their hero John Cena later tonight. They all chanted USA, and he says he is the reason people all over the world are subscribing to the WWE Network to watch him at SummerSlam. He will beat Cena more convincingly than Nakamura did, and Nakamura's destiny is to lose to Mahal. And then he went to speak in Punjabi before being interrupted by Nakamura. I felt extremely uneasy watching this segment. I thought it was very... I don't know. I thought it was completely tone deaf to what the entire country, I think, was dealing with on Tuesday. Anyway, I know that people will view WWE that they're in their own bubble. The rules don't apply, but I just felt so uncomfortable that this woman is singing India's national anthem on their Independence Day and being booed down. And it just feels so dated that this is a bad guy because he's from another country. And this woman is going to be booed because she dares to sing her national anthem. I don't know. Was I having too extreme a reaction to this? 'Cause I felt this just felt so uncomfortable.
Well, I would say wrestling, in particular this character, you could say is usually in pretty bad taste already. You know, the guy's character is to come out and proclaim how proud he is to be of whatever culture he's from, and
it's not even the anti-American stand. Like his insults to is based off the reactions he says he receives just based on this. Like he's not someone that they're going all in as this awful, despicable human being. It's like he's a proud Indian.
Well, I mean, he insults people for being xenophobic, and of course he cheats to win. He is like portrayed as a bad person. But like this segment though, I felt like was not so much, there wasn't so much bad to cheer for besides him not being American and kind of, you know, it was certainly in bad taste, but the timing was especially bad, I think.
Awful. Yeah. Like I don't
But I mean, obviously they had all this plan prior to Trump speaking, but even
you make a job. Like, dude, the Charlottesville attack happened on the weekend. It's like you're going to go into a segment where for heat, we're going to sing the national anthem of another country. And to me, the only heel lines in this were calling the audience xenophobic and jingoistic, which if you were to play this segment to somebody, I'm sorry, that's the conclusion they would make on their own without Jinder saying it. Yeah, I really did not like this at all.
Yeah, it kind of makes their audience look pretty bad.
Yeah, I heard from someone that was in the crowd that just felt so embarrassed by this and was just like looking down on their phone, felt uncomfortable.
But I also don't blame the audience because he's being presented as somebody that you should be booing. So I don't expect somebody who's going to a wrestling show to not boo this person when there's essentially almost like a cue card telling you to boo him because of everything that's been leading up to this and the way his tone is.
I thought this was so divorced from just reality that it just made this whole, I don't know, the whole structure of this segment was mind-boggling to me that you would be that tone deaf. The announcers then provided an update on Ric Flair, stating that he is resting comfortably, but is still in critical condition. And then our first match of the night was...
Sorry, did you talk about Nakamura?
Sorry, I skipped Nakamura because he came out, interrupted, and said, today is India's Independence Day, but in Japan today, they commemorate those that have died in war and pray for peace. And Sunday will be the day that Jinder loses the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I thought it was almost a saving grace that the babyface that they've decided to be the counter to Jinder Mahal is a Japanese man. And if it was John Cena, I
thought the same thing.
I think the
if he came out and cut a pro US promo on Jinder Mahal for like arguing his celebration of India's Independence Day, it would have been that much more gross.
I would hope that Cena would have enough, I guess, awareness of things going on in the world that he would be able to shape his promo into something similar to what Nakamura said, and that's the promotion of peace overall, regardless of where you're from. So I thought Nakamura actually came across really well here. He didn't have much to say, but he just needed to do enough to cue this crowd to cheer for him, and I thought he delivered. He even added a bit of his kind of weirdness with his last line at the end, which I think he needs because the character is awkward and weird, and that's what we love about him. So I think he should be speaking differently from everybody else, and I thought this was a good performance from him.
Then Natalya took on Naomi. Becky Lynch took on Natalya. Naomi came out to join the commentary team. Went through a commercial break. Natalya was in control with an abdominal stretch. Becky got out, landed a pair of clotheslines, the Bexploder, 2 count off the forearm, and then an Enziguri lands for Becky, but misses with a leg drop off of the top as Natalya then capitalizes, applying the sharpshooter, and Becky taps out. Afterwards, Natalya continues the attack, goes to reapply the sharpshooter until Naomi chases Natalya away. She's checking on Becky, and then Carmella came out with James Ellsworth, wishes them luck in their match on Sunday, and James says that whoever wins, well, you lose, as they showcase the briefcase.
I think the star power for this women's title match is kind of weak, especially for a show like SummerSlam's. It doesn't feel like it's a big match on the show, but I do love...
This is probably kickoff worthy.
Yeah, but I do love seeing Natalya getting a title shot on a big show. I think match quality-wise, it should be one of Naomi's best. I think Carmella and Ellsworth, in ring it's whatever, but I think personality-wise, they are two of the most entertaining in the division for sure.
Yeah, it was. I think I have. I think it'll be a good match. It depends as well time-wise, and Naomi.
I don't think it'll be on the kickoff. They won't put their title on the kickoff.
They've got to put 4 matches. What would you put on the kickoff? Like when you think of it, there's 7 title matches on this show.
The cruiserweights.
The cruiserweight, that's one.
And one of the tags.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's on the main card. And then afterwards, Tamina was in the locker room with Lana. Tamina is complaining about not having a title match yet. Lana says she isn't ready because the people don't see or fear her yet. And she needs to follow Lana's lead because Lana's going to use her ravishing beauty to help Tamina make her the most destructive force, and she will crush. Together, they will be unstoppable, and Tamina can become women's champion. I don't know what this means.
Well, it means Lana's going to be a manager for Tamina.
And she's going to have superpowers to sway the matchmakers?
She's going to make her hotter or something.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe make her like a more, I don't know, she's going to give her a makeover. That's what it seems like. Yeah, it's becoming somewhat interesting. I think I wonder why it took them so long to portray the story on TV, even though the two have been teaming for like over a month now, 2 months.
They haven't had any conversations up until this point. They didn't realize what each could benefit from the other, I guess. Also worth noting with the Ric Flair thing, no Charlotte, obviously, on this show. The Usos came into Daniel Bryan's office, and Bryan is just playing the dork he plays on Talking Smack with the Usos. He wants to be part of their rap group. They ask which members of the New Day will be facing them at SummerSlam, and Bryan says it will be Big E and Xavier Woods with Kofi in the corner. But tonight, the Usos want Kofi and Woods because of last week's attack. And the Usos wanted to fist Bryan, but Bryan just palmed their fists. Mm-hmm. And then they exited with Daniel dancing. Rusev and Chad Gable was next. Gable landed this belly-to-belly suplex, and then Rusev tosses him into the steps over and over, and then throws him right over the announcer's desk. The match is called at 1:13, and Rusev placed Gable on top of the announcer's desk, which you know what elevation can do when a submission is applied correctly, and applied the accolade. And then Byron Saxton yelled, "Rusev is seeing viscous acidic liquid." He did get blood through here. He's seeing blood. And the crowd chants for Randy. Rusev slowly gets into the ring, and he has the microphone. And as he gets out the word Randy, Orton just storms into the ring out of nowhere and lays him out with an RKO. The place went nuts.
Yeah, I thought the RKO was awesome. Not a very hot feud at all.
Maybe this is how the match should have gone on Sunday, where Rusev comes into the ring. He has a long entrance, and he builds up to just saying Randy. Randy appears, bell rings, over. 4 seconds.
So when does the bell ring?
The bell rings right as Randy hits the RKO.
Why would the bell ring if he wasn't in the ring already?
Randy's storming the ring to attack Rusev. This is the match at SummerSlam.
But the bell doesn't usually ring until the referee sees the guy in there.
Wait, did we not going over the cash-in? They are very liberal with their bell ringing.
Okay, they should.
I'm saying the match should be short on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe it should be short. Anyway, I thought it's not a very hot feud, but I thought this segment came across really well, that it brought it up a few points because it was very effective, I thought.
AJ Styles came out. They had been building up this segment for AJ's apology after they replayed the Pele kick from last week. And he brings out Shane, and Shane just says, there's no reason for an apology. So AJ could have just said, okay, cool, see you Sunday. Or they could just continue. Shane says, he's just there as someone to get in between Styles and Owens, and if he gets hit, he'll just get back up. There's a big chant for Shane. Styles says that last week was an accident, and he wants to make sure Shane is not going to screw him, and that on Sunday, as referee, Shane says, if you push me or you shove me, it's going to be a different story. I will put my hands on you if you do it first. And Shane was just stalling out until Kevin Owens' music played.
It was weird. Shane started sweating a lot.
Oh, he was like the snowman.
I don't know if Owens' cue was missed or Shane forgot a line or something, but there was a huge delay between Shane kind of fumbling for words and Owens' music being hit.
Yeah, it was an uncomfortable amount of time. And you're right, he was just sweating up a storm here. Yeah. This guy ever had to cut weight, I don't think it'd be too difficult. Like this guy, I feel like he loses 5 pounds a segment under these lights. Owens thinks that Styles did mean to hit him, and in a rare Owens flub said, last Thursday night.
Oh. Well, he grew up watching on Thursdays, I bet.
I mean, it hasn't been on Thursday since 2005. So
he's on the road a lot.
I know, it's tough. Keep all these shows straight. He says he likes Shane's rules, so AJ can't just automatically get disqualified. Owens says if he makes contact with Shane, it would be a pure accident, and knows that Shane is going to call it right down the middle. And he wants to shake Shane's hand, but Shane, being the ethical referee he is, said that just wouldn't be right to shake your hand here. So then Owens tries to shake AJ's hand, but they end up arguing. Shane gets in between. Owens ducks, and AJ goes to punch him, and Shane stops his fist. Like he was Iron Fist. And then Owens goes for a super kick, which AJ ducks like he was Toru Yano, and Owens super kicks Shane, and Owens is pissed, and he leaves. So the question is, who is Shane going to wreak havoc on this Sunday?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of tired of seeing AJ and Owens together, but I think the addition of Shane and the 2 segments this week and last week with both of them mirroring each other, I think have been very good. So I think they've been doing a decent job.
And I think this leads that you could do a clever finish to get to wherever you're going after SummerSlam. If it's Shane and Kevin Owens, you can do something creative with Shane, I feel.
It adds a new wrinkle to a match that we've seen already a few times, and it makes it overall more interesting. Yes.
The New Day came out. They discussed their match with the Usos and said how they begged for a match tonight, and they go all over the different places where they can catch these hands. Kofi got in a Foxborough plug for the reaction here in Rhode Island. And then Kofi and Xavier took on the Usos. And they noted that it was Kingston and Woods that were the two that won the tag titles. And it was all New Day at the start. Kofi hit a senton. They went through a commercial break, built up to a tag to Woods. They double super kicked Jimmy. Jay made the save. Then Jimmy caught Kofi on his shoulders during a Trouble in Paradise attempt. Jay then shoved Woods off the top. They nailed the left knee of Kofi, and the Usos double super kicked him, and Jay pinned Kofi.
Yeah, really good match. Very fast-paced.
And for the first time ever, they're not taking advantage of the Freebird rule. They have announced ahead of time that it will be Big E and Xavier Woods going against the Usos on Sunday.
I guess it still is the Freebird rule, considering like if they win the championships, it's still interchangeable teams.
Yeah, but isn't part of that the element of surprise?
Is it?
I mean, they've kind of like, you start a match, you don't know which two it's going to be. They never announce it ahead of time, ever. Then we had the season finale of the Fashion Peaks.
Yeah.
The bulletin board featured the fake Diesel and Razor Ramon listed as doppelgangers. We had Andre, we had Bob Backlund. Fandango explained he was abducted by aliens, and it got deep and uncomfortable, and he was mentally probed. Breeze then walks in with this blonde wig and jokes about people are starting to think that they're just making all this up as they go along. Fandango had a space rock, which he threw and hit the Ascension, who walked into the shot, returning the pie from last week. Am I getting all this right?
I think so.
Fandango then used tweezers to pull out a Band-Aid and then hair
and gluten,
which angered Victor that he's being accused of not living a gluten-free lifestyle. And then there was a note.
I think we're starting to see somewhat of an APA transformation for the Ascension, where they're starting to become a bit more human, and in the Ascension's case, more comedic. So now they're these guys who are dressed up in these ridiculous cosmic characters that have very human concerns, like eating a gluten-free lifestyle. I think it's great.
So they revealed a note that said, "To be." And they said the whole tag division is in trouble. And then it ends with saying Breezango will return in 25 years to complete our spoof on Twin Peaks. And then it changed to 2 weeks.
Yeah, those are all Twin Peaks references. Yes. It wasn't for me, and I don't think I'm entertained by these enough to go and do the research after the fact. I bet people loved them though. If you were a Twin Peaks fan, so congratulations.
What do they do now?
You got a whole thing dedicated to you. I would kill if all of a sudden Breezango decided to spoof Terrace House 1 week for 3 weeks. I would go nuts for it. But you probably wouldn't give a shit.
I'd get Terrace House. I'd understand it.
Oh, you would? Okay. Maybe everybody else wouldn't.
Main event, the biggest main event in history. Jinder Mahal versus John Cena, non-title. Cena came out and he spotted a sign that read Cena towel target and said he was going to hit it. So he threw his towel and yelled, "Bullseye."
Cool.
They state the importance of this match because a Cena win could lead one step closer to a 17th title reign. An element that did not prove to get Randy Orton one step closer after last week.
Right.
Cena gets knocked to the floor as the Singh brothers do the "you can't see me" sign. Mahal was in control when they came back. Cena then came back with a suplex, hit the five-knuckle shuffle, and then the Singhs pulled Jinder to the floor. Cena chased after them, and the Singhs grabbed him by the leg. So Jinder attacks Cena. The Singhs get ejected from ringside. Phillips says that on Indian Independence Day, Mahal has been liberated from the Singh brothers. An STF is applied. Mahal gets to the rope. Then Mahal hits a flying knee, goes for the Koloss, but Cena blocks it, lifts him, and hits the AA for a really great near fall. Then he goes to the second turnbuckle. He hits a super AA, and right as he's about to pin Jinder, Baron Corbin runs in to break up the fall and cause the disqualification. Corbin then lays out Cena with the briefcase, and then he's walking up the aisle when he turns around and he notices Jinder Mahal is out. And he eyes the briefcase, and the crowd realized what he was thinking. He returns to the ring to cash it in. So Corbin is standing over a down Jinder Mahal, and if you thought Shane McMahon was awkward earlier, Baron looking to the side was just the worst. Like, this was a guy that was just, man, not exactly cool as a cucumber here to get this timing right. He was painfully looking over to his side to make sure Cena was in position. The bell rings. He turns and nails Cena off the apron, allowing Jinder to roll up Baron and pin him in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, some people brought up that Jinder's foot was under the bottom rope that they could use as a... It's not very clear. It didn't seem like it was even intentional. I feel this was it for the briefcase with Baron Corbin. And Corbin freaks out as Cena's laughing, which I don't know why. If you were Cena, wouldn't you be rooting for Baron to win this? You'd get a title match Sunday.
Would it be a title match?
Why wouldn't it?
Wouldn't Nakamura get that shot?
I don't know. It becomes really complicated at that point, doesn't it? But that's not the option. Instead, Baron lost this briefcase.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the match. What did you think of the match?
It was okay.
I thought it was, pretty quick TV match. Moving almost...
The near fall was great.
Right to the false finishes, almost very quickly. I'm wondering, he must not be returning for a bit if they're deciding to just do this. But then again...
Who's this?
Cena.
Or yeah, he's scheduled for Raw after SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam is his last involvement on SmackDown.
Right, yeah. So, but, they also didn't, I think, give you a big enough match that you feel like they overdid anything on this show. It was a quick match, but nothing, I think, monumental or all that memorable, to be honest. But, of course, everybody's going to be talking about the cash-in. I find it really interesting. It's a really interesting, surprising case why they would decide to do this right before SummerSlam. What do you think are the repercussions of this, and why did they decide to do this?
Well, I don't know what the exact reasoning is. A lot of people have suggested it was because of Baron Corbin had this exchange on Twitter last week with a fan that it started off with Baron Corbin and Dave Meltzer going back and forth.
Yeah.
So this fan interjected, insulting Baron Corbin, to which Corbin insulted and called the fan a loser. And said something to the... You can look up the tweet because it's still up there. And so this fan comes back revealing, which it did say in the guy's profile, that he's an active duty Air Force member, and posted a photo of him while he was deployed in Afghanistan alongside Vince McMahon and The Big Show, to which Baron immediately apologized for insulting this fan. And anyway.
What? That was the reason?
I'm not saying that's necessarily the reason, but this felt like...
Okay.
This felt like punishment as opposed to a storyline progression for Baron Corbin.
All right, I have the tweet. It's
okay.
like
read it for us.
So first of all, Dave, whatever. So Meltzer said something about Corbin on his show or in the Observer, and then Corbin responded to the article saying, "What matches and promos has Dave Meltzer done? Oh, none. He is an old man who could never do what anyone on the roster can or could." And of course, Dave got into it with Baron and blah blah blah. This guy, Mike Gilbert, says, "Uncle Dave is more respected in wrestling than you ever will be." Baron Corbin says, "Respected by who? Losers like you with a profile pic in a high school gym indie show?" And of course,
I was not expecting a comeback.
At some point, this guy Corbin got word, and then Corbin says, "You have proved me wrong. I don't care for your opinion, but you definitely have done important and great things. My bad."
Which...
Well, I mean, that's still, he's playing heel, man.
Listen, if that was the reasoning for it, I think he should probably make an effort that when you go to insult someone, maybe read their profile, and if it's someone in the military, probably steer clear of that one.
I don't think one has to do with the other. What? So
listen,
just because you've been in the military, you can't get healed on by a professional wrestler in a fictitious world?
When you're working for the company you're in, no, you can't.
I think that's
Listen, I don't condone it either. I don't think the guy should have been punished for just...
But this is all assumptions. We're all only assuming that maybe he lost the briefcase because of this incident. Could have been plenty of other things.
Perhaps.
What are some of these other things? Like, why? Like, my question is, why take away the element of the cash and away from Jinder versus Nakamura, or Jinder versus Nakamura, which I think was one of the things that made that match a bit more interesting.
I thought actually the opposite, that maybe they wanted to take it away because people assumed that would happen, and that I don't think
you could still do the tease and have
you're
Nakamura
right.
keep
Dude, they've eliminated the briefcase. To me, if you were going to give up on this Baron push, put the briefcase on someone else. Keep that going. Instead, the briefcase feels, unless they do some dispute to get the briefcase back to him, I don't think this did Baron any favors. And also, if like Sunday. Like, I feel Cena wins this match on Sunday because if your idea is, well, we'll rehab him with a win over Cena, well, you've taken away the tool that would greatly assist him in the briefcase.
He's lost the briefcase.
I feel Cena beats him and Cena moves on to Raw. Yeah. And Baron's kind of in no man's land after this. I mean, I think this is 2 steps back for Baron Corbin. And the briefcase is gone.
Oh, boy. I mean, I'd love to hear Dave's response.
Hey, it was the company's decision to do this. If this motivated it, all I'm saying is this would not stun me at all if this was a reason to suddenly just turn your opinion on Baron Corbin, which I think is unfortunate for the guy. That look at his Twitter. He insults fans. Like, I have no problem with a guy that's going to do that on Twitter. Yeah. They want these guys to be their characters out there, and he's being an asshole. I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
That was SmackDown. What did you think in terms of a go-home show for SummerSlam?
I enjoyed SmackDown. I don't think SmackDown has the main event as big as what Raw has. So in terms of overall interest, I mean, you can't really compete. You know, you can't compare Jinder versus Nakamura to Brock Lesnar. But I would say even for Jinder Nakamura, I thought Nakamura had a good appearance. The national anthem thing, I think, was in very bad taste. And everything else, though, I thought it was an entertaining show, an easy show to watch, and I thought that, you know, it did good with what the matches it had to build towards.
So I know what you're curious about. What happened on 205 Live?
Oh, yes.
Are you ready to hear?
Yeah, okay, sure. And then we'll do feedback off.
Let's do both on the podcast version.
All right,
okay, so that's going to wrap up the YouTube version of Review of SmackDown. So goodbye, folks. If you want to hear the rest of our 205 Live review and feedback and questions, you can download the entire show at liveaudiowrestling.com or just subscribe on iTunes so you never miss a show.
Yeah, and of course, if you want to get this man's face on his brand new shirt, the DJ Jopo You Should Know Yo t-shirt, go to prowrestlingtees.com/law.
All right, so there you go. Goodbye.
SmackDown.